Okay, you're just gonna get me my full glory today because I simply cannot be bothered to put makeup on and put on a cute outfit. This is just gonna be like the realest baking video ever. We started getting set up for the biscotti. Like, I don't want to sound obnoxious, but I also don't want to sound dumb when I say the words. The Italian cookie, that's what we're doing round 2. This is a full day of baking in my very micro bakery. Also, the height on this isn't ideal, so I'm like trying to squat so y'all can see me. But I just did legs at the gym and standing is not my forte right now. But anyway, the oven got set to 325. We're gonna put our almonds in for 8 to 12 minutes. We don't have a full cup because we didn't think ahead. So we're just gonna put the main ones in the order and pick the best ones and we're also gonna chop them really finely so it's not super big chunks, but she only wanted 6. So I think we can make that work. I'm trying to look back. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm using my baking roundup as a cheat sheet. If you haven't watched any of my baking roundups, they are a cheat sheet on getting the perfect bake, and I've learned that for myself. So wanted to pass that knowledge along. I'm trying to watch to see what I did wrong in the last one because I know there was a step I definitely missed and it didn't look as beautiful as I wanted it to. So I really want this to look pretty, but I wanna make sure that I'm doing the steps in the correct order. So I'm gonna put these in the oven, check at my old video, take a little look-see-poo, and then come back to you. Part of this video is gonna be a voiceover, part of it's not. My in-laws are in town, so we're just catching up in things. So there's gonna be voices in the background, and I unfortunately don't have the technology yet to where I can remove background voice. Also, I think it'd be rude just to be talking to myself while they're all having conversations in there. So they are getting lunch right now, which is why I'm able to speak to you. So part of this is gonna be a voiceover, part of it's gonna be chatty. I'm sorry. Moving forward, we're gonna be doing more chatty because that's more fun for me personally. But yeah, that's what we're gonna be doing today. I have sourdough already set up. There's 12 minutes before I need to add the salt to it. And then after that, we have some chocolate chip cookies, which I don't think I've shown y'all before, but I love this recipe that I found and I use it all the time. So put these in the oven, looking at the video, then we're gonna get moving and grooving, okay? Also, you can say it's too early, but I don't care, that's adorable. Putting these in, setting a timer. And like last time, it's gonna go in for 8 to 12 minutes. I don't remember exactly what I did. I'm just gonna see it and play it by ear. I'm gonna put the oven light on and then see how it's looking. But I should be able to smell it when it starts to get actually roasted, so. Number 1 tip I have for you while baking is number 1, turn on the bake mode. This will change your life. Number 2, also have the printed version so you can easily get like all of the ingredients so you don't have to keep, scrolling down and down and down. But I recommend, this is how I found the most success, like fully reading the articles, right? As I'm going through making tips, FAQs, blah, 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 very important information. But when you start to get down to the actual step-by-step where we're here, I'm gonna need to know how much olive oil and brown sugar I need. And instead of having to like literally until I'm at the end, or I just like to pop over, see, okay, I need a 1/4 cup of olive oil as well as 1 1/3 cups of brown sugar packed. And I can continue with this version of the instructions, so I'm making sure I'm not missing anything, as well as making sure it's also looking the way that it's supposed to be looking. So that might not be a good tip. It might be, I don't know. That's just what I do, and I thought I would share. So it's that time again where you get to see me struggle taking my KitchenAid mixer out. We're gonna need the paddle attachment this time around, as we are making kind of a dough, but not really a dough. If we were making bagels or something, we'd be using this, but we're kind of using a mixture, so we're not gonna want the whisk. We're gonna need the paddle attachment. Now this is the moment of truth. Don't laugh at me if I can't get it out. It's like here is fine, and then, oh gosh, it's right there. That's the worst part. I'm gonna break my back one day, I think. We've already had one successful moment in baking history today, but you know the real test. If you've been here for a little while, you know you're gonna have a good baking day if you can set this up properly. And I'm not quite sure I have it in me today. Let's see. Okay, here we go. We're starting off.
Oh my gosh, amazing. Beautiful. What a great day. It's gonna be a great day.
Okay, so the instructions say, in the bowl of a stand mixer fitted with a paddle attachment, check. Mix together olive oil and brown sugar. And we're gonna need 1/4 cup of olive oil. Okay, I think I'm gonna do this more zoomed in, but I just went and grabbed my 1/3 cup because I'm gonna need that, as well as 1/4 cup. Here we go. It doesn't say what olive oil to use, so I'm using extra virgin olive oil. That might be incorrect, but we'll see. You know what, actually I'm gonna use the rest of this. This might have been a bad idea because I don't think I have a 1/4 cup in here. This is all trial by fire and error. And I don't want to mix them together because I know that they're different. Stop it right now. Are you guys seeing what I'm saying? You quit. Oh, okay. I thought it was gonna be perfect. It's not. I'm not very good at like judging how much is in something, and I don't want this to be one where I make it work. I need it to actually work, so I'm gonna put this in another vessel and come back. Okay, we're gonna try that again. We're gonna use what I had already planned on using anyway. We're gonna use, that's a 1/3. We're gonna use 1/4 cup here of olive oil. The cup runneth over. Did you see that? Wow, I really have to be down here for you to see me. Okay, now I'm gonna use some brown sugar. I did already use my pretty clear measuring cup for the sourdough, so you're gonna see my old ugly ones, but if you've been here for a little while, you already know what those look like. So I'm gonna add those now. We're just gonna need 1.5 cups, or 1 cup and 1/3. I'm getting too excited. And does anyone else's brown sugar get super packed like this? Like, it's very, very satisfying. It feels like kinetic sand. Oh my gosh, do you remember when we were kids and the coolest thing to have was kinetic sand? I never had it, my friend had it, and so I would go to her house and play with it, but like, you were top tier at that point. You were actually the coolest one on the block, pretty much. I wonder where those kids are today. What are they up to? How are they doing in life? Either way, we're gonna get started on this. I think it says medium or low speed, let's see. Okay, it doesn't exactly say, but it does say add the eggs. So I'm gonna slow this, that's the slowest speed. Okay, I'm gonna add both eggs, 1 at a time it says, which I can follow directions, I can do. The almonds just went off, so did the sourdough. So we're gonna pull her out, wash her hands, add the salt, put her back in for 30 minutes, then we'll start the stretch and fold process. I don't think I talk much about sourdough anymore, like making sourdough loaves, because I make them all the time and you've seen me make them all the time, but I like to use this type of salt. I don't know what it is, it's just the brand that I use. And I do 3/4 of a tablespoon, not a full tablespoon, because a full tablespoon is too gritty and too much, honestly. So I use 3/4, and I don't add it until 30 minutes after I've mixed the sourdough starter along with the flour. Just me, I don't know. I know people that don't, I know people that do. So that's what I do, that's what I'm gonna do now, but I'm gonna pull out these almonds first. It smells like the movie theater. I love it. Oh yeah, that's good. Oh, it smells like Christmas, kind of. Also, this is the normal state of my cooking area or baking area that y'all just don't ever see. But again, we're getting real. We're getting close and personal. We're really getting to know each other here. And you know what? I want to be real with y'all. Like, everything isn't going to be rainbows and sunshine and pretty dresses and makeup on every single day. Although I try to make it a reality, this is also the reality, and that's also okay. So like I said, we're going to put this back in there for 30 minutes and then we'll start the stretch and fold process. If any of that filmed in slow-mo, I think I'll cry, because the amount of times it films in slow-mo is actually ridiculous. Now we're just going to mix. Okay, now we're gonna add the almond extract, the vanilla extract, and the sourdough discard, which is poppin'. I have so much. Okay, so it's asking for 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. There's that. And then 1 whole tablespoon, which I hope I have, of almond extract. I love how it's clear. It packs such a powerful punch, but you wouldn't know. There we go. Okay, full tablespoon there. And then 1/2 cup of sourdough discard, which we have more than. So I'll be able to make more things after this. Ooh, I wish y'all could smell this. It smells so good. If you live near Publix, I grew up going to Publix, eating pub subs, but if you grew up near a Publix and you've ever had a chantilly cake, that is what it smells like. So that is the secret ingredient. Fun fact. I already knew that because I worked in the bakery, but fun fact, that is the secret ingredient, almond extract, and it just, ooh, smells so good. Okay, here comes my favorite part. The pour. Look how much I have. That's insane. So unfortunately, this is where we turn over to the voiceover. I know this is the dreaded voiceover, and we are moving towards chattier vlogs. And honestly, after filming this, I feel like I was just able to be fully in the moment and let you know how I was feeling and give you live reactions to things that were going on versus me trying to remember what exactly I did or what I was thinking in that moment, how it was looking at the time, things like that. So I will be moving forward with some chattier vlogs. I hope y'all like that. I will sprinkle in some voiceovers at some point if, I'm just really low on time or we have people over, but for the most part, I think I'm just gonna chat to y'all, and I hope that's okay. If it's not, please let me know. I love your feedback. But as you saw, we were doing the most gorgeous, and I mean gorgeous, sourdough pull. And I think personally for me, that is a better pull than any pull you can get at any other location. There's just something truly magical about a sourdough pull. And then we're adding some chopped almonds. Like I said, I didn't have a full cup. I just kind of ran with what I had. I didn't think through. I remembered I had almond packets in the pantry that I had bought recently, and I was like, you know what, that sounds good to me, let's ride with it. And then realized it wasn't a full cup, and you know what, that's life. I told you this was gonna be a super real day in my life video, and that is exactly what it was. We were with company, we were getting ready for a football game, it was a proper Saturday, like things were just happening at the moment, and I was taking full advantage of the opportunity of free time to just like really spend time with y'all as well as get these orders done, and that's exactly what I did. This was all for one customer, so this is actually an abnormal order, but for the most part, anytime you see me doing things or I say I'm doing things for orders, it's for multiple people. But this sweet gal reached out to me and wanted a few things of previous bakes that I'd done, and I said I am more than happy, if not ecstatic, to do that for you. So that's what we're doing. We are now doing the Italian cookies in the oven. I believe the cook time was like 30 minutes, and then you swapped it 15 minutes in to make sure it got an even bake. And then in between that, I'm literally just doing the best multitasking I've ever done in my life. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I had probably 6 timers running at all times. I had a sourdough timer. I had the Italian cookies timer. I also had a regular cookies timer because I was making cookies on the side. It was just an absolute process, but I loved every second of it, truly and honestly, and I wish I could just give y'all real-time updates on this, but like I said, they came back from lunch, and I just felt like it was rude to be talking to a camera when I could be talking to them, So that is why we're here, but we are just moving into our typical stretch and fold, push and pull, whatever you want to call this series of rolling the dough and setting it up for the next day. I did have a clip of me putting it in the fridge, but I don't know where that went, if I'm being honest. And you've seen me put things in the fridge plenty of times, so that's nothing new. But just know, once I rolled this out, I did let this sit overnight, and then the next morning came back and baked it off. But yeah, it's just been such a fun way of kind of just showing you what it looks like on my end of things. I know I really enjoy watching people with their micro bakery and all the different ways that they have mass-produced things and set up their kitchen or, a designated space. And I just think that's so special. So I kind of wanted to share what mine look like. I am a micro bakery, like in the sense that it's just me. There's nobody else. It's just me and my oven, like respectfully. I don't have anything else going on. I don't have a large production. I don't make 50 loaves a day. I've seen some people do that, and I am absolutely in awe of them. And most of them are mothers, and I think that is such an amazing thing, and it just goes to prove that women are superheroes. But that is all to say that I didn't think it would be very interesting, but I had a couple
votes on a poll a while back asking me to do a little bit of small business talk. So this is my version of that. I am not a business girly. That is not my forte. My husband is the business guy, and so he helps me with all the finances and things like that regarding the micro bakery. I'm just the creative side, and I love creating, and this is the best way I've found to create things. So I'm just enjoying this. And now we have cut the Italian cookies into, I believe it was like 3/4 of an inch to 1/2 inch, or whichever way is smaller. I'm not very good with measurements, as you can tell. And then we're putting those in for a second bake because they do need to bake a second time, and you're flipping those in between, and that is what those look like. And now we are moving into the cookies. Now, I don't think I've ever shown you this recipe before, but it is super simple. It is like a one pan fits all type of deal. And the hardest part is just waiting for the butter to brown. That's really the extent of level of, beginner, intermediate, hard levels. Like, that is the hardest part, is just waiting. I mean, I think because my stovetop is so irregular, the right one gets to the surface of the sun and the left one gets to the surface of the sun, but it takes a while, and I can never remember which one is which, and a lot of times I'll have something on either burner going, so I have to just kind of roll with it. And I was on the right one at the first time, so I was on low, and it literally felt like I was on high, so I had to, really watch that. But that is honestly the hardest part. And then from there, you're adding brown sugar, you're adding regular sugar, then you're adding a whole tablespoon, I believe, of pure vanilla, and then you're moving into adding your dry ingredients, which is going to be, I think, a cup and a third of flour, and then 2 eggs, as well as some baking powder. And then you're adding your chocolate chips, and then you're good to go. Now, I will say the presentation on this wasn't the best because the chocolate chips literally melted. And I remember making this last time and thinking, I need to wait for the batter to cool down before adding the chocolate chips in and mixing them to set them up. But I didn't. And that's because, one, I was on a time crunch, and 2, because I totally forgot. And that's kind of leads us into the next morning. As you can see, it's 6:28, and that is no fun. I was struggling for my life at this time. It felt like I had not been asleep whatsoever. And you can hear in the next few clips what that sounds like when I don't get 8 hours of sleep. I'm just not a fun person. So I apologize for what's about to come, but y'all wanted the chatty vlogs, so we're going to bring the chatty vlogs. As per usual, you've seen me do this 3 billion times. I'm just setting up to make my lemon blueberry loaf, and then I will pass it off to previous Gabby. My lemon didn't give me much zest. We're going to try to fill that void with as many blueberries as possible. Also, I coat my blueberries in all-purpose flour so they don't spread as much whenever they're baking. I don't know if that's a hot tip. I don't know if it's a tip at all, but that's what I do. Now we're just gonna roll this beautiful bad boy together, because the timer for the oven just preheated and it let me know very loudly. Because as you saw, it is 6:30 in the morning. Everyone else is asleep. I didn't go to bed till 2 a.m. last night. I went to a football game, and it's showing this morning, so I'm so tired I almost forgot to film. Not like you haven't seen me do this 3 billion times, but maybe this is your first time seeing me do this, and for that I'm sorry. I'm always trying to get better, but sometimes you just gotta stick with what has worked in the past. Do me proud, little buddy. And while we wait, the show that started it all, my comfort show, my favorite bread man, and my queen. Get ready for these cookies, because I also need to bake these cookies off before I need to deliver this. My favorite pastime, just staring into my oven, waiting for everything to be done. I understand why the people on the Great British Baking Show do this. It's so fascinating and terrifying at the same time. I know it's a bit of an abrupt ending, but that's really all I had for y'all, and I didn't want to keep you on the hook for no reason, so I will see y'all in the next one.